We're going out to Ontario now. Logan Couture of the San Jose Sharks joins us. He's been watching, I'm sure, with interest, all of these Stanley Cup playoff games. Logan, welcome to the RP Show. How are you doing today, my man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's so interesting to chat with a guy whose team, unfortunately, did not make the Stanley Cup playoffs. You've had this extended summer. So before I talk to you how that's gone, what's it like watching these playoffs in the bubble and all your buddies and you're not really part of the party?
Yeah, it's different. I talked to a few guys that were with us at the start of the year that are now on other teams, and they seem to be enjoying it. Some more than others, obviously. One is Barclay Goodrow in Tampa and Brennan Dillon on Washington, so they're in little different spots. But they say it's gone pretty well. The NHL's done a good job making them feel safe, and I think the hockey's been pretty good to watch.
Probably a dumb question, but I'm somewhat famous for that. Are you relieved in a way that you haven't had to make a decision on returning to play or be part of this in terms of health and safety? Of course, you want to be in the playoffs, but are you going, man, I'm glad that I don't have to deal with this?
Yes and no. I mean, it is a tough spot for some guys, and I honestly thought there'd be more that would opt out. One Tuukka Rask just opted out the other day, but I thought there'd be more. But it has been good hockey. It's been good to watch, and they've said that they felt safe. And I know the PA wouldn't have agreed to this whole thing if the players weren't going to be safe. So I wish we were playing. I think it looks like a fun tournament. Every team had an opportunity. So wish we were playing for sure.
You know what? It does look like they're having a ton of fun, no doubt. And you mentioned a couple of the players you're talking to. What about Joe Pavelski in Dallas? I know the games are somewhat late for you to stay up and watch, but man, has he found the fountain of youth. Your thoughts on what he's doing with the Stars?
Yeah, playoff time comes around. He's a guy you want on your team, and he's showing it now. He may not have had the best regular season that he's had in his career, but when the games matter, he's a guy you want on your team, in your locker room. He's a guy that'll get other guys going, and he scores big goals. So we definitely missed him this year in San Jose. I understand exactly what happened, and I think he's happy that he's playing well in Dallas.
I'm going to get into your Sharks in a minute, but first, just as far as watching the games on TV, for me, I literally have seen no difference, but maybe that's because hockey is my sport. Because with the NBA, it's a big difference to me. Baseball, with hockey, I've really enjoyed the games. I've even noticed the fact there's no fans. How about you?
Yeah, I'm the same. The only thing that I heard from guys that are playing is it feels normal until there's a goal that's scored. When there's a goal that's scored, it's silence, and they've played each team's goal song. But the guys that are there say it's just so weird when someone scores because you're on the bench and no one cheers and it's quiet in there. But they've done a good job.
In that regard, it would definitely feel like practice for sure, right? Or a scrimmage or something.
Yeah.
But moving on to the Sharks, I've had a lot of NHL guys on over the summer, and I just said, hey, it used to be Sharks, Kings, Ducks. If you were going through California, it's not a matter of if you lost, it was by how much. You guys were Death Valley down there, and now none of you made the playoffs this year, which is a real anomaly, I think. You said you got a feeling as to why the Sharks didn't make it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a tough year for us, and it's only the second time since I've been there, 11 years, where we haven't made the playoffs, and definitely not fun. We went through a coaching change halfway through the year. We didn't start out well, and everything just kind of snowballed, and next thing you knew, we were near the bottom of the conference, and we didn't figure it out. So that's on us as players, and I think going into this summer, it's a long break. We're looking at 9 months between games, or possibly longer. So I think it's a long time for guys to look in the mirror and really want to improve and show people that this was an off year for us, and we still have a team out in San Jose that can compete for a championship.
What's interesting about that when you say that is it hurts more when you expect to be in the playoffs. You've been in, like you say, 9 of 11 seasons, and going into the year you expected to be in the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's not like you're on a poor team and you know what the expectations are. Like, that's got to hurt even more, right? I mean, what is the outlook for it? Plus, with the signing of Erik Karlsson, what's the outlook coming back for next year? Is this a blip, I guess, is my question.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we want to prove that we're still a good team, and I truly believe we have the pieces in San Jose. We've got some very, very top-end players that most of us had down years. We want to defend better. We gave up way too many goals. So I think we still have a team there that can win. It is difficult. You go to conference finals. I think we went to 4 or 5 since I've been there, and you just expect it every year. You expect to be in the playoffs. You expect to be down to the last 4 teams playing for the Stanley Cup. And when it doesn't happen, it definitely hurts.
Get some viewer questions here, if you don't mind, Logan. From our summer student,
Sure.
Max, Mad Max, he says, Logan, who in the Sharks prospect pipeline are you most excited to see take the next step to San Jose?
There's a couple guys that played some games this year. Noah Gregor, Dylan Gambrell. I think they're going to turn into good NHL players. We're going to need them. John Leonard played at UMass. I believe that he's turning pro. I've heard good things about him. I haven't seen him or played with him yet, but Mario Ferraro, I expect to take another big step. He was very good for us straight out next year, and he's only going to get better. So those are some guys that I'm excited about.
With Noah Gregor, the guy's head's just nodded because we watched him with Moose Jaw and PA. I know his uncle very well. He's a radio host in Edmonton, and he won a WHL championship with the PA Raiders. You're right about Noah. He's a good one, and he's hard-nosed. You've obviously been on the ice with him. Logan, one thing I like when I look at your hockey DB, it's San Jose, San Jose, San Jose, San Jose. You've been in one place for a long time. I respect that. You don't see that very often. What is it about San Jose that it's a fit for you? And obviously you haven't shown much interest in leaving. Obviously you like what's going on down there.
Yeah, it's the playoffs 9 out of 11 years. It's our ownership and Doug Wilson giving us a team that can win, believing in us every year, making deals at the deadline to make our team better, whether it's adding Evander Kane or Erik Karlsson, guys like that are only going to help us. Joe Thornton being around for forever. He's one of the main reasons that that team or that organization in San Jose has had such a great culture and a winning culture for so many years. It's Jumbo and Patty Marleau and Joe Pavelski. So now it's up to us, the younger players, guys that have been there for a little bit longer, to continue this. And I don't think we did a good enough job this past year, obviously with us missing the playoffs. So some of our younger players, myself, Brent Burns, Eric, Evander, we've got to do a better job of leading our team.
Logan, obviously a heavy conversation during these times, but I want to lighten it up just a touch. Better beard, Thornton, Burns, or Elliot Friedman?
Well, I just saw Elliot got rid of his.
Yeah, he did.
His was looking more like Jumbo's. He's got a little bit of gray in there. Jumbo's got the gray like right down the center, kind of like a racing strip there. It looks okay. Burnsy's, you're just used to it. Burnsy's a little bit longer. I don't think he trims it as much. He gets food stuck in there all the time. So I would give it to Jumbo.
I tell you what I respect about those two is those are pre-COVID beards. There's a lot of guys are rocking them now, but they've had them literally for years. From viewer Dion Langevin, Logan, who are you cheering for to win the Stanley Cup?
I don't really cheer for anyone when we're out. It's very difficult to watch sometimes, some seasons. I find myself getting jealous of other players when they're still playing. And, when the Stanley Cup was awarded, I turned the TV off right away. It's tough to watch other people with joy on their face lifting that thing. But to answer that question, it's guys that I played with. It's either Tampa or Pavs in Dallas or Washington with Brendan Dillon. So any of those 3 teams I'd be pulling for.
Just a couple more before we let you go. From Gregory Lee, he says, what was it like playing with John Scott? We've had him on here a couple times. He seems to be quite a character. What was it like playing with that 6'8" giant?
Yeah, it was an interesting year. It was John Scott's a fellow Bills fan like I am, so we bonded over that for a bit. He's a funny guy. He got along with everyone. I think it was kind of an eye-opening year for him just to see how we did things in San Jose and being around Joe Thornton. I know he's talked a lot on his podcast about Jumbo and how much he liked him and how Jumbo can keep things in perspective. But Johnny was great. He kept our room light as well. He was a good guy to have around. He knew his role. He did it very well.
Last one, we think a lot of Patty Marleau here. He's from Aneroid, Saskatchewan, cowboy country down there. From producer Clark, can Logan discuss the impact Patty Marleau's had on his career and what it meant to the team for him to return this season?
Yeah, Patty's been a huge part of my career. I've been very fortunate. The equipment trainers, managers in San Jose put me beside Patty in our home practice rink, in our home game rink, right beside his stall. And then on the road, I was placed beside him as well. So I picked up so many little things, just the way he goes about his day-to-day business, how he works out off the ice, how much he cares for the game. I said this before I played in the World Cup. So I would always tell everyone, they asked who was the best player I've ever played with. And I'd always say Patrick Marleau. Like, to watch this guy in practice, his speed, his skill, the way he shoots the puck in motion. He was the best player until I got to practice with Sidney Crosby. And then obviously Sid's a, world-class top of, probably the best player in our generation. So Patty's right up there, though. He's so skilled and such a great teammate.
Wow. Well, interesting answers. And I'll tell you what, Logan, this has been a thrill. You play the game the way I like to see it played. And although having looked at your stat line, you're not young anymore. I got to inform you of that. I'm not sure you can qualify as one of the young guys. You've realized that, right?
I know. Unfortunately, yeah. Each year that passes, I can't believe it.
Well, you're fun to watch. Good luck. Enjoy what's left of summer. Stay safe, of course, and I appreciate the time today.
Thanks for having me. Logan
Couture of the San Jose Sharks joining us from Ontario today, watching the Stanley Cup playoffs along with the rest of us.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.